Gruesome Magazine.
Greetings. I am your host, Jeff Mohr, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in theatrical releases, streaming, and video-on-demand horror movies. Each week, Doc Rotten, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, Christopher G. Mohr, and I will look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Not with us is Doc Rotten, my co-host and our fearless leader. He is off sailing the seas as we speak. So hope he's having a good time and not spending any time online worrying about anything. But I am joined by Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead girl. How you doing, Cleveland?
I'm doing great. I actually did get a photo of Doc from his trip.
I did too. Mm-hmm.
So that was nice.
With his wife?
Yeah.
I kind of gave him a hard time because I'd never seen a picture of his wife.
Yeah, me neither. So I was like, oh, y'all are so sweet. They look so sweet. He looks like he's having a good time. So that's a good thing.
Okay. Also with us is Christopher G. Mohr. Award-winning director and guy with big eyes. Oh, and 3 claws.
Oh my God, he's a 3-toe. Yeah, I get it.
That's about the right speed.
I'm heart horny for you guys.
Do I know what that is? All right.
Primo dialogue.
So our topic today is Slotherhouse. I was going to say, I think I will. Available streaming on Hulu beginning October 15th, 2023. So it's already streaming. The synopsis: Emily Young, a senior, wants to be elected as her sorority's president. She adopts a cute sloth, thinking it can become the new mascot and help her win, until a string of fatalities implicate the sloth as the main suspect in the murders. Directed by Matthew Goodhue, written by Bradley Fowler, Cady Lanigan. Cast includes Lisa Ambalavinar, Sidney Craven, Andrew Horton, Bianca Beckles-Rose, Olivia Royer, Tiff Stevenson, Sutter Nolan, Milika Verzik, and Stefan Kapicic.
That's the best job you've ever done, John. Oh, wait.
I'm sure I screwed some of them up. But anyway.
My statement stands.
Yeah, so Slotherhouse. Well, let's get into this. And we'll start off with some first impressions, and these will be spoiler-free. And then we'll move on to spoilers and finish up with favorite scenes and a score between 1 and 5. And I want to hear from Crystal first on this movie.
Okay. Here we go. Okay. I was like, oh, good. It's Christopher. He gets to go first. Okay. So, well, let me say this. This movie is called Slotherhouse, and it is exactly what you think it is. It's exactly what you expect to get from the movie.
I almost said this movie is as silly as the title.
Yeah, I can't really say it any other way. Is this movie good? Absolutely not. Is it entertaining? Yes. Yeah, it's entertaining. I mean, it's cheesy, it's silly, it's dumb. It makes fun of itself. It's tongue in cheek. It's exactly what you think it's going to be. I think the acting was good in it. I mean, for what it's worth. I mean, even the sloth puppet, I'm assuming it's a puppet or multiple puppets for sure, because they kind of look different, was fine. I mean, it was better than Winnie the Pooh in Blood and Honey. So, there's that. This movie is, I can't really bash it because it's just silly. It's just silly. It's silly. And I knew it was going to be silly. I was the only one that was like not really wanting to watch it. And I still feel like I don't really want to watch it, but it was okay. That's all I have to say. about
Okay.
it. Yeah. It was okay.
Thank you, Crystal.
Yeah.
Move on to Christopher. What are your first impressions of Slaughterhouse?
Well, this was like one of my more anticipated films I wanted to watch this year, and this film was a pure disappointment. And maybe I'm just not the age range for this film. This film seems like a bad Disney Channel film. In fact, it's PG-13. There's barely any gore. All the kills happen off screen. And it can't pick a tone. You know, it's 1 minute it's trying to be like Election or Clueless or Mean Girls, and then the next minute it's like some creature from a Charles Band film, and it doesn't pick a lane as to what kind of story it wants to tell. And I mean, I really would have loved to seen a balls out, like very gory film with this. But it's like they go out of the way so much to like not even show many of the kills. It doesn't make sense a lot. And I mean, the acting is like, I'll say it's because the characters, the way they are so two-dimensionally, it's like watching cardboard. It's really cheesy, but it's like a sitcom level acting.
Yeah.
There's literally a girl that talks, yo, what's, I mean, she talks like really cringeworthy level. And I know that's probably like, hey, this is the character we want you to play, but it's like, it feels like Urkel showed up on set, you know? So, this film was hard. I was not entertained. Well, the only time I was entertained because like, I kept thinking like, how is this sloth? This sloth is this sloth is like it's like Chucky, you know. It's like I want it to be like that. What's the movie where we find out the girl's like a 30-year-old, but she's like a little girl?
Orphan.
Yeah, I feel like it should take his face off when we find out it's like a little person inside of it or something, because that would have made more sense than the abilities that this sloth becomes cognizant of.
Social media and everything, and how to use it.
And don't even get me started in how a sloth can drive, which is not possible at all. So I'm like, even though I was like, this is I mean, I think the moments with the sloth are probably the more entertaining things for me, because it's like, this doesn't make any sense. But if the film had like leaned into that fully, I probably would. But yeah, this felt like a bad TV movie on like Disney Channel or Nickelodeon. It felt like a sitcom slasher, if that's even been made. And maybe this might be a good entry level for younger people, because it really doesn't have, like, I mean, granted, it does have people drinking and the sloth drugging a girl and other things, which might be inappropriate for very young people. But this might be a good entry level for younger people to watch and not be so scared, I guess, because there's moments where you see like, you know, this film was probably the most disappointed I've been of any film this year, because I had such high hopes, because the trailer really sold a really cool film, and it's, I was like, what am I watching? I was like, yeah. So Slaughterhouse is, for me, is a don't bother house.
Yeah.
Don't bother house. Well, that rhymes. I'm kind of with you guys, but as I listened to you talking, first I was thinking, I think maybe this is intended as a sort of cutesy sitcom version of a horror movie. But then, like you said, they throw in some adult things, kind of. Anyway, but not to mention the drunk house mother, you know. So I don't know. You know, it's trying to be cute. If you want to watch this, you got to turn your brain off, because there's nothing anywhere in this that mimics any kind of reality or comparison to it. I was looking forward to it because I was thinking, I know how sloths move, and I thought, how are they going to turn this into a horror movie? This might be kind of interesting, but they just kind of ignore what sloths are really like. And anyway, it's more kind of like a Michael Myers or Jason hiding in plain sight in a sorority, you know, inside a sloth. It's got some kind of superpowers or something. So, you know, I didn't hate it, but I won't watch it again. And you know, if that sounds like some of the stuff that you might like, it might be cool for teenagers. It might be okay. I don't know, but
I don't think it is. It is. Let me tell you, Mason would hate this thing.
yeah.
Like,
well, I don't know where it would fit.
I mean, I would only say, like, I agree with Christopher. Like, it feels like it's more preteen, but it does have a few thematic elements that are too mature.
Yeah, it's got that sort of like you know, the Disney Channel exclusive type stuff, like music camp, or you know, it has those kind of like thing to it. But then it's got the kind of adultish type things. You know, of course, it has murder, but you can sort of get away with that in Halloween type stories, I guess, on Disney Channel. But yeah, it's like I don't. Yeah, and again, like I think like you, Jeff, I was thinking, how is this slow sloth they're going to be able to? But there's moments where it'll go. It's like, does it have some kind of transportation, some kind of like sci-fi transport? Because there's one moment where it's on the ground and then it shows up inside the house. It's like there's really not there's not enough time. It would have been there by the time it was daylight. So it's just, there's moments that are just like, I mean, granted, it's cutesy and it's funny at times, because I was like, the kind of moment where it's like it's playing around with the computer. And then later on, it's like
spoilers now, everybody. So
yeah. But later, it's like taking selfies and it knows hashtags. It's like the amount level of intelligence that's I'm not sure if sloths are.
Baby sloth can read, work the computer, and drive a car. And conspire, right?
Yeah, it knows hashtags. It knows. Although I will say, for a whole social media generation of people in this house, they take horrible selfies.
Yeah.
Their faces are all disjointed. I was like, even somebody who like will take 20 pictures of something. I know people that do that. It's like they take horrible selfies. I couldn't see any of these hot girls or whatever like posting that online. But yeah, it has all of those kind of tropes or things you see with like a lot of your college movies, you know, and I think we were kind of thinking it was going to be like that. A lot of your, you know, fraternity or sorority type movies. But yeah, but it's like there's a lot of things that don't make a lot of sense.
I think they thought they were going full camp. I feel like I think that's what they thought they were doing, but it just didn't work.
Yeah, but then like where they're weird go between them playing dodgeball but then it's like they feel. I mean, they don't even. I think they pull their punches so much with a lot of. There's one part where he just stuffs a loofah in her mouth.
What?
You know, it's like,
that's so weird.
How are you gonna die with the? But yeah, there's moments that like there's a whole montage where he's killing it, and it's so lazy.
The montage,
how they do that.
The montage alternates between Rush Week, President of the Sorority election activities, and people dying. And this goes on for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and like
how are they?
6 or 7 people get killed and nobody notices.
Well,
that they just disappeared. And
it seems like everybody disappeared.
He texted and said,
"Oh, that's true."
Apparently, he was giving them alibis or whatever because he's
but wouldn't their parents
visit her sister? Yeah,
the sloth.
But they have family. They have friends. Somebody would figure something out, you know. And then I mean, without giving away the ending, not that it really matters of this film, but in the ending, everybody's okay with half of their sorority dying, and then she's just gonna like ship this killer sloth out, and nobody. What happened? Everybody's like, they act like, oh, you're the sloth thing, but they're
well. It didn't make any sense because the one member of the sorority that wanted to send the sloth back home gets attacked by the sloth.
Yeah,
like it, but then later it's like acting like it. So it's like I said, you gotta turn your brain off. So I yes, I'm that guy. I looked this stuff up.
Oh, Good.
The top land speed of a sloth is 0.25 kilometers per hour, which is
Oh my God.
like
Per hour.
Yeah, like 300, not even 300 yards, like 250 yards. And they eat only leaves, and the reason they move so slow is because they live in trees and they're almost blind. So
yeah, they're not going to be able to
Sloth had
see
good
your little cell phone.
Yeah.
And my favorite part was they only come out of the tree once a week to poop.
Oh, that's so cute. They'll go
And because they've been,
go
hanging in the tree for a week, they
That's so
can
cute.
lose as much as 30% of their body weight. But that's when they're really vulnerable. Anyway,
really weird animals.
You really didn't want to know that, did you? But my point being, why did they use a sloth? I don't know.
Because it was funny.
They're kind of cute looking, I guess. There may be a message about adopting wild animals, but it's
but
hidden pretty well.
I totally fully agree with that. I mean, they're dangerous too. It's like, why do you have a monkey? Do you know how dangerous they are?
Well, it's some stranger in the mall. It's like, hey, come to my house.
Yes.
Yeah, the whole story is like, and that's when I first immediately.
It's a little stranger danger going on there too.
Here we are.
Yeah, and it's just some of those moments where it felt like a sitcom, like, oh, let me run out and stop the dog, and let me, it's like all of it are just, I don't know, it maybe.
And the sorority won't let you have a dog, but you can have a sloth. Really?
Yeah, and let's
if it's a mascot, right?
Let's chain all the doors closed.
So weird. Yeah. Well,
I
would say I told you so, but
and that's probably some of the most mild hazing that's ever happened at a sorority fraternity.
Yeah, I didn't get
you walk blind through different shower heads. What?
I didn't get that trust shower thing. What was
I don't get it either. It's very stupid. It's just for them to we need a way for this sloth to sort of electrocute several people.
And scald them with hot water, yeah. Okay. I don't know.
I'm good.
I kind of, my favorite character though was the house mother. It was played by Tiff Stevenson, who's a comedian.
Well, she had that whole long bit, where he thought she died and she came back.
Yes. This is my thing. I have a whole thing here. Shut up.
She stayed there so that she could.
What?
Which doesn't make sense. Well,
of course it.
Don't even try to make sense in any of it.
And then she's supposed to have a law degree, but she'd rather be there with those little peons.
Right.
Crazy. Okay.
Although it was
because
funny,
she always wanted to be president, and she was hoping.
Although I think the one few times where I laughed was when the girl was like, "Well, you're 60 years old." It's like,
oh yeah,
I'm only 40. Oh, kids.
Oh,
well, and I don't know anything about sororities or Greek system, but do they really have wear robes like that and secret?
Some of them.
They a lot of them do a lot of weird shit. Probably not as
like tradition stuff,
hazy now, but yeah, there's. And my brother's told me some horror stories when he was in a fraternity, and I've heard some other stories that are just like, oh God, that's why I don't like fraternities. I don't feel like you should abuse people to become a part of something.
Yeah. Well, they all wore these like red satin robes with hoods for the vote for the president. And you voted with flower petals.
Yeah,
which is kind of cute. That's kind of cute. I kind of like that though.
It felt very Satan cultish, but
I
don't know what's so shitty about that.
That's where a lot of that sort of like tradition comes from. They like that, not from Satan. That's not what I'm saying. But even religion has the same sort of,
I will say, we talked a little bit before,
rituals,
Jeff, but I think this film would have been more interesting if there'd been some kind of supernatural element, whether it be like
Yeah.
them injecting him full of drugs and he became like fully intelligent and fast
Right,
as a
right.
sloth, or
Or an
possessed by a
alien or a
demon or
possessed.
alien, or I think
So,
that would
well-
have made more sense and would have been more, not that anything should be totally believable, but it would have made more sense just the how this thing could sort of jump so fast and move so fast and do the things it
What
does.
was the deal with the medicine, with the anxiety medicine or whatever?
It was just to keep
What
him
was up with
calm,
that?
keep him like drugged and calm, and
So
not.
this, so
which-
this sloth apparently has something wrong with it, right? Like,
No, they
is
did
what
that
we're
to
supposed-
keep it so docile, so then they could sell it, to keep it.
right, because they knew something was wrong with it, right?
No,
But
no, they
sloths
just
don't
did.
really.
They just
Yeah,
keep it so that
that's what-
they.
That's
Yeah,
what
well,
I'm
sloths
saying.
are normally
I get
slow to
that
begin with.
part, but what?
No, I would just assume they just
Why
kept
would
it
it-
drugged until they could sell it or keep it, so they don't have to deal with it that much.
See, I thought it was because they knew something was, or whoever it was knew something was wrong with it. And I think that they did, because that dude was like, well, what happens if I don't give you this anymore? And then he died.
Well, but maybe the people before him, I guess, maybe, but
Maybe they
but
were
again,
trying to explain something about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it
The-
didn't translate very well.
Yeah,
No,
the
that
other thing
makes
was the current sorority president. At the end, Emily goes and saves her,
Yeah.
but then when she has a chance to save Emily, she runs
She
out.
said, I'm sorry.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
well,
And she
of
runs
course,
out, and then later,
obviously.
in their
when
buddy
everything's
buddy.
all happy, she goes, "Thanks so much for saving me. That's okay. That's what sisters are for." You know, I guess that was supposed to be funny, but I was
Well, I think they were trying to point back to when they had the flashback when they were all sort of regular college girls and didn't
before they
weren't competitive and that kind
Yeah.
of thing. But that was too much of a fast arc for that character who was just an asshole throughout the whole movie.
yes.
Agreed.
Yes. All right. Well, let's go to final score and favorite scene.
Okay.
Crystal, you're up first.
I'll give this a 2.25. Yeah. Okay. And my favorite scene is when the when the sloth popped the top of the beer. They're like she's like laying out all in pink and all and she's like it's so cute. Or that, or when she put on the tiara, that was really funny too. She's like, I'm the queen for real. Yeah, it's funny. So yeah.
All righty. Christopher, how about you? What's your favorite scene and your score from 1 to 5?
I'm gonna give it a 2.
Ooh. Oh wow.
And because there's really nothing.
Mhm.
This film was not made for me. Maybe it's made for somebody who's younger who doesn't have semblance of taste yet. But it's
Who hasn't gone through puberty, maybe.
puberty, or
Mm-hmm.
could just laugh at something and not really take in what they're watching. Favorite scene? I don't know. I guess. I think probably the scene where it takes a selfie with the girl in the hospital bed,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you think it's about their college, just like,
Yeah.
and then
Doesn't
you
say
see like
hashtag
sloth, killer sloth,
Yeah, or not, or something like that.
or
I
not.
thought it
Yeah, I was
like-
like, this is ridiculous. The sloth has only been in the like this part of the world for a small period of time, and it already understands social media. It already understands hashtags. So there's people that still don't understand hashtags, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Yeah, at this point they were like, I feel like the writers were on drugs when it's like, we're just gonna have all these crazy scenarios that we want to see a sloth doing. So anyway, that's probably my favorite.
Okay.
I think that's a
Right.
good scene. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna give this a. I'll give it a 2 as well. And I will say, this is not definitely intended for me.
Wow.
Like Christopher said, there may be a demographic it's intended for, but it's not me, and I'm having a hard time seeing where it would fit in. So we'll see how it goes. Favorite scene? I'm going to say, oh, which one? Well, I'm going to take Zenny, the Yo girls fight with the sloth, where they get into a whole like fake spaghetti western thing where it's close-ups on the eyes, and then we also have the ninja sword, and the thing, the sloth automatically becomes acrobatic and dodging stuff. I just was like, yikes.
What is going on?
What is going on indeed? All right. Well, that's been a review for Slotherhouse, and I do kind of like saying that, Slotherhouse, even though it's
I do think it was funny that the guy made a joke about it too, and then they're like, too soon.
It's
Silly
Sorority Sloth Shenanigans.
Yeah.
So that's it's on Hulu right now. If you want to check that out, go into their Huluween section, and there she be. You too can enjoy Slotherhouse. Yep. Well, that's it for tonight, or this episode. At any rate, thanks very much, Christopher and Crystal. Appreciate it. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
See ya.